let's see how this goes. Let's see how this goes. But I feel like it's gonna be a while before his next nap, and I just don't have that much time probably before the next one wakes up, which will be impossible to film. So anyways, we'll just see. But welcome here. I am Abby. I'm a wife. I'm a mom of 2. This is number 2. I'm an American living in Switzerland, and okay, he just got 2 new teeth. They're very sharp. Yeah, so welcome to today's video. I've also noticed that there are a lot of new faces around here, and I just wanted to say welcome to all of you, and thank you so much for watching my content and subscribing and commenting. I seriously just feel so excited reading some of your comments and just parts of your stories or where you're from and things like that, and it really kind of feels like I have just a bunch of new friends that I'm really excited to kind of get to know and really excited to share a part of my life with you. So, and it's also worth it to say I feel like that I am a lot more active over on my Instagram account. In the case that you do like my content and you kind of wish you had more of it over here on YouTube, because I know I don't upload very regularly for obvious reasons. I am a lot more active over on Instagram, and so I will leave that up here as well as in the description box below, and so if you would like to, you can also follow me over there. So today I want to talk about food and eating and balance and all that stuff. Somebody asked me if I would make a video about what I eat, and so since I am very intentional about all of that and really enjoy talking about it and thinking about it, I decided to make a video for you. So just to start jumping in, I have kind of always been quite conscious about the food that I eat, but for most of my life, especially kind of around in the teenage years, my focus was a lot more on just my weight rather than my health. Anyways, kind of fast forward maybe about 4 to 5 years ago, I kind of finally figured out how to reduce my calorie intake enough that I could lose a lot of the weight that I was wanting to lose, which felt really great, but I just wasn't feeling that healthy and was also having quite a lot of gut issues and stuff. Oh, you like that plant, don't you? So that led me to kind of make a few changes in the way that I eat in the attempt to kind of heal my gut issues. It was nothing really intense at that time, but anyways, so I kind of stumbled upon the anti-inflammatory diet in my research and stuff at the chapter. It is haying season where I live now, so I loosely followed the anti-inflammatory diet. Oh, there's something happening there. I don't know if I want to keep that in the video or not. I very loosely followed the anti-inflammatory diet. That's kind of where I started, which again, I'm not really an expert, and so if you want to read more about what that is specifically and what it can do for your body and all that stuff, I would encourage you to go and read about it on your own, because yeah, that's not really what this video is about. It's more just about what I have done for that. I would say when it comes to what I eat, my philosophy feels like a big word for that, but anyways, the way I approach it is I focus on whole foods mostly, and I basically just eat a little bit of everything. My take on it is just to keep things as balanced as possible and sustainable for my lifestyle, because I know as much as we all, myself included, love the idea of just that really like Pinterest worthy, super healthy diet, that, you know, you don't eat gluten, you don't eat dairy, you don't eat animal products, you don't eat refined sugar, all of those things. For most people with normal social lives and normal budgets, that's just not really realistic to maintain for, you know, years and as a real lifestyle, not just kind of a short season. And so I have really tried to implement things into my lifestyle that I can maintain basically no matter what life season I'm in. And I've gone through a lot of different life phases in the last few years, as far as like some lower budget, some higher budget, pregnancy, breastfeeding, and all of those things. And I have give or take been able to maintain this way of healthy eating and maintain a low weight. And that has really happened just organically. It has not been my focus to lose weight, even after both pregnancies, but it just has kind of happened for me. I'm sure for some people and some body types, I'm sure that it looks different and it's maybe not as easy as me, but I would say a lot of it is just the things that I have made consistent in my lifestyle and the way that I eat. Just had a quick diaper change break. Just to elaborate a tiny bit more on the topic of, oh no, I got the hiccups, of making things sustainable and maintaining balance when it comes to that. So when I first changed my eating habits, I used the phrase a lot. I eat more of and I eat less of one thing. So instead of saying, for example, I don't eat refined sugar, I say I eat less refined sugar and I eat more fill in the blank. You get the point. And for me, what that created was, for one, I think to not feel like I failed or I just needed to throw something out the window if I ate something that I quote unquote wasn't supposed to eat. I really just tried to make things really realistic for me. I know I have a sweet tooth. I love eating sweet stuff and desserts and gluten and dairy and all these things, and so I want to take all that into account and think, I want to eat like this for years, for the rest of my life. I want to eat and live a healthy lifestyle, not just for a few weeks or months where I might stick to a really strict diet. Okay, so let's talk about what I ate during that time. So as I mentioned, I kind of base it off of the anti-inflammatory diet, but two things that the anti-inflammatory diet suggests to cut out are gluten and dairy. And for me, both of those things are like, I kind of feel like I need to have those in my diet. Otherwise, it's going to be really, really hard to maintain over a long period of time. I try to apply my philosophy, is there a better word to use? Ideology, I don't know, of trying to eat whole foods to those specific things. And so when it comes to dairy, for example, I stopped buying anything that was like fat reduced or highly processed and had a lot of sugar or any sugar added to it. And so hey, are you excited? Yeah, are you excited to see me? I basically narrowed it down to like whole milk, full fat yogurt, and cheese. Just, not wanting foods that have been like processed or pulled apart in a lot of ways and things like that. And so then when it comes to gluten, the same. In all of the options that I have to choose from, to always choose the highest amount of whole grain. I try really hard to eat whole grain stuff, and a high percentage of whole grain in the bread that I make or things like that. Then that leads me into just the topic of the rest of grains. So for example, rice, we predominantly eat brown rice. We eat a little bit of white rice, of course. Like if we're making risotto, I definitely try to eat mostly brown rice. And that just kind of goes for most of the grains, not things that have had parts of them taken out of them. I would say a main thing that I focused on as far as what I fill my body with is fruits and vegetables. Kind of as a rule of thumb, what I really tried to do is eating at least one serving of fruit or vegetable with every meal. Of course, sometimes that doesn't happen and that's okay. But yeah, for the most part, having some sort of fruit with breakfast or a salad or a vegetable with every meal. And sometimes that's my entire meal basically is vegetables. That's been a really high focus of like, these are things that I mostly ideally want to fill my diet with. Yes, when it comes to the topic of fat, again, the same principle. I try to eat the most whole food, aka less processed fats available. As far as I know, the best ones are olive oil, avocado oil, and butter. I know for people who eat like a plant-based diet, butter isn't an option. But I personally, and things that I've read, of course, so many people have so many different opinions on this, but it makes sense to me also that butter would not be a bad thing for you, comparing it to like canola oil or sunflower oil, which needs to undergo so many different processes to become oil. But butter is just like, it's almost just right there in the milk, and you don't have to alter things very much in order to get it. I definitely eat a fair amount of butter and olive oil. Avocado oil, I would love to, but I haven't really been able to find it in stores where I live, and I can imagine if I did, it would probably be very expensive because groceries are very expensive here where I live. I will chat a little bit about budget in just a second. But just finishing off with the things that I do eat. We do eat animal products, obviously dairy, as I've mentioned, but we do eat meat and eggs, even though I would say we probably don't eat those things more than 3 times a week. And so it's pretty, I would say, pretty balanced with the rest of our diet. And it is something that I've definitely looked into quite a lot, because I know a lot of people feel very strongly for many reasons about not eating animal products. But for us as a family, and kind of the research that I have looked into and things like that, it just it doesn't feel like it's a necessary thing. Oh my goodness, a necessary thing for our family, and it would be a very big sacrifice to cut those things out. So we do eat animal products as well. So talking about what I cut out or reduced in my diet is basically everything that is highly processed. So things like processed sugar, we didn't 100% cut it out. And as I've mentioned before, like, we have gone through a lot of kind of, ebb and flow in our nutrition journey, and there are seasons when we eat super duper healthy and eat 0 processed sugar and very little sugar in general, and then there are times when we just eat a lot of it because we're stressed, or a lot of it is available, like around Christmas time or things like that, and that is just completely normal and what normal people do. We like sugar. So anyways, it's just not realistic to just never, it's just not realistic for us to just never eat that. So, oh my goodness. Again, the same thought. What's the most whole food sweetener available? The sweeteners that I mostly use are honey, maple syrup, and coconut sugar. Just a note on those with budget. Also, those are quite a lot more expensive than just like normal cane sugar that you would buy, but those are something that I am willing to invest in, as well as the added factor of plus the added factor of if it is more expensive and more high quality, it does make me feel like I want to use less of it. And so leading into the topic of budget, that is actually a huge point, at least for us, and I think where we live as well, because as I mentioned, groceries can be very expensive here where we live. And a lot of healthy foods are really expensive, and it's just sometimes not realistic for us to, eat all of the avocados and the nice berries and all of the things that are very high in healthy fats and antioxidants, the high quality meats. The same with organic vegetables. We don't buy organic things because mainly we just can't really afford it. We would probably eat way less vegetables and fruits than we do currently. And in my book, a lot of non-organic vegetables is better than just a few teensy organic perfect vegetables. Starting to wrap it up, I do want to say it is super important to have an individualized look at your own body and your own diet, and just figure out what works for you, because there are so many different diets and ways to eat, so many different body types. What works for me may not work for you, and so I just really encourage you to kind of take this information and just see how your body does, how your body feels eating a different way. Just in wrapping up, I have been through, and we as a family have been through a lot of kind of ups and downs and different life stages in the past few years since I started eating this way, and I have actually been able to maintain it, and I have been able to maintain a low weight throughout this whole thing, even after 2 pregnancies and all of that, and it has felt mostly effortless. And I think what I mostly want to do is encourage you that eating healthy does not have to look like it looks like on Pinterest. You know, the things that they sell you, this specific type of diet and things. If you really need that for your body, that's good. And there are some people who are able to maintain that. And it's realistic for them because they have a crazy high value for it. And that's great. But I don't want to sell you the lie that in order to be quote unquote healthy, your lifestyle needs to look perfect and you can never eat things that you really enjoy. Eating healthy can fit your budget, it can fit your social life, and the key to it, in my opinion, is balance. Little boy number 2 is waking up. I'm gonna wrap up later. Oh, that's a race car, right? And a motorcycle? Oh yeah, they drive by our house all the time, huh? Okay, so just rolling with the theme of real life. If I can do it in this stage of life that I'm in, and in all of the stages of life that I have been since I started, you can do it too. Yeah, I would really love to hear if you have any thoughts. Also, what do you do? What works best for you? If you do enjoy this type of content, subscribe. Let me know if you would like also future videos kind of like this, like the weight loss part of it, or really just anything. Please let me know. I'd love to hear from you. Yeah? That's an airplane, right? Okay, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you're having a great day. Bye. Uh-huh.